All right, so today we're going to learn to explore ancient India, one of the world's oldest and most influential civilizations. So, as we learn about ancient India, we're going to focus on how geography, religion, politics, economics, technology, and society really helped shape these civilizations and the empires that developed there. We're also going to examine two major empires, the Mauryan Empire and the Gupta Empire. And we're going to see how trade and geography really helped spread ideas throughout the ancient world. So take a moment and look at this map right here. So think about these questions. If ancient people wanted goods they couldn't produce themselves, how would they get them? So what does it tell us when trade routes connected civilizations thousands of miles apart? So as we move through today's lesson, you'll see that trade was one of the most powerful tools connecting ancient societies. So our goal today is to describe the development of Indian civilizations and empires. So many of the world's earliest civilizations developed near rivers. So keep this in mind. Remember this when we talked about ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia. So just as Mesopotamia formed near the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, and the Egyptian civilization formed near the Nile River, ancient India developed along the Indus River Valley, which rivers provide water, fertile soil, transportation, and opportunities for trade. So these resources made it possible for large populations to settle and build cities. Oops, sorry. All right, so the earliest Indian civilization developed along the Indus River in present day Pakistan and northwestern India. Like the Mesopotamian and the Egyptians, people relied on river flooding to enrich farmland. However, unlike Egypt's predictable Nile floods, floods in the Indus Valley could be unpredictable. So people adapted by building irrigation systems and storing extra food in grainies, The civilization was also protected by natural barriers, including the Hindu Kush Mountains and the Himalayas, which helped isolate the region from invaders. However, nature may also contributed to the civilization's decline through floods, changing river patterns, or environmental drainage. So, archaeologists have discovered two major Indus Valley cities, Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. These cities provided much of what we know about civilization today. So the evidence found at these sites really reveal a surprising advancement from from the civilization and an organized urban society. So looking at the religious and some of the achievements of the Indus River Valley. So one of the biggest mysteries about the Indus civilization is religion. So unlike the Egyptians and the Mesopotamians, archaeologists have found few large temples or religious monuments. So many historians believe religious practices may have focused on nature, fertility, and goddess worship. So the Indus Valley people were also incredibly advanced, though. So they developed a sophisticated drainage system, indoor plumbing, public bathhouses, plant cities that were laid out by grid, standardized bricks, a writing system that has never really fully been deciphered, even to this day. So think about that for a moment. Thousands of years ago, many homes had access to bathrooms and sewage systems. So in many parts of the world, those conveniences would not have been common again until modern times. So the political structure of the Indus Valley remains a mystery. So unlike Egypt, there is little evidence of kings, palaces, or large armies. So yet their cities show impressive organization. So this suggests that some type of strong leadership or governing system did exist. Economically, people really grew crops such as wheat, barley, and cotton. They also traded extensively with Mesopotamia. So archaeologists have discovered seals and artifacts indicating active commercial relationships between the two civilizations. Overall, evidence really suggests a relatively peaceful and prosperous society. Sorry. And here's some images of the civilization and some of the artifacts. So eventually, the India's Valley civilization did decline. So historians are still debating about why. Some possible explanations, which we talked about a minute ago. Maybe it was major floods, earthquakes, environmental changes, maybe invasions. So the truth is, we simply don't really know for certain or the specifics. So this reminds us that history sometimes leaves us with questions that remain unanswered. So after the decline of the Indus Valley civilization, so new civilizations and empires emerged. And today we're going to focus on the two most important, the Mauryan and the Gupta empires. Both really helped shape Indian history for centuries. So this is a look at some of the empires, simply the Mauryan Empire. So the Mauryan Empire controlled most of the India subcontinent. Its capital was Pataliputra. The empire really benefited from fertile farmland and major rivers that supported farming, transportation, and trade. The road systems connected distant areas, and it helped leaders maintain control over a vast territory. So, one of the most famous Mauryan rulers was Asoka. So, after witnessing the destruction caused by the Kalinga War, he converted to Buddhism. So instead of emphasizing conquest, he promoted peace, nonviolence, religious tolerance. He spread Buddhist teachings through stone heretics, and he sent missionaries throughout Asia. So think of missionaries like people that go around and spread the gospel. So because of Asoka, Buddhism spread far beyond India. So the Mauryan Empire accomplished many things. So it built roads, wells, rest stops, and hospitals. So it established one of India's first unified governments and improved communication throughout the empire. So Asoka's stone heretics also represent one of the earliest examples of rulers communicating laws and values directly to the citizens. You hear some images of those. Now, the Mauryan Empire did have a strong centralized government. So it was founded by Sandru, Sandragupta Mauryan. The empire used governors, tax collectors, and officials to administer its territories. So this large bureaucracy, think about bureaucracy like government. So this large government allowed leaders to really effectively govern millions of people. So the Mauryan's economy was supported by agriculture, taxes, and trade. So road systems encouraged commerce and linked distant regions. So they were able to get to these places quicker. The empire also maintained standardized weights, measures, and currency to make trade easier. So society was influenced by both Buddhism and the caste system that was in India at the time, creating a very complex social structure. All right, so now we're going to look at the Gupta Empire. So the Gupta Empire developed later and controlled a smaller territory than the Mauryan Empire. Its location was near the Silk Road and the Indian Ocean trade routes, which really helped tremendously with economics or the economy in that empire. So trade brought new goods, ideas, and wealth into the region. Now, the Gupta period is often called India's golden age. Hinduism became more prominent, although religious freedom generally continued. The achievements of this period were extraordinary. So Indian scholars developed the concept of the number zero. They were very advanced in algebra and math. They improved astronomy. They made major medical discoveries. They produced important works of literature. So many of the mathematical concepts they use, or they came up with back then, we still use today. So we can thank the Guptas for that. So here are some images. So unlike the Mauryan Empire's strong central government, the Gupta government was more decentralized. So there really wasn't a strong governmental background in the Gupta Empire. So local rulers maintained some independence while recognizing Gupta authority. Trade flourished through both land and sea routes. The economy became increasingly prosperous, which supported advances in science, literature, and art. At the same time, the caste system became more rigid. So I don't know if I said this earlier, but think about a caste system. It's like you have your higher ups, like your emperor, your kings, and whatnot. You had your lower statuses, like your slaves, your commoners, your peasants. And women generally had fewer rights than in earlier periods during the Gupta Empire. It was a very, I meant to say this, but it was a very patriarchal society. So let's review. So the Indus Valley Civilization created advanced cities, trade routes, and technologies. The Mauryan Empire unified much of India and spread Buddhism under Asoka's leadership. The Gupta Empire ushered in a golden age, which was filled with achievements in mathematics, science, medicine, literature, and trade. Most importantly, ancient India really demonstrates how geography, religion, and government, economics, and culture work together to shape civilizations and influence the world. All right, make sure you took your notes while you're watching this video.